Before you boys walk on the moon for the first time, I need to warn you about a couple things. Most important is lack of traction. Because the moon has such a low gravity, with those boots you have on, the floor will seem pretty slippery. It's just the fact that we don't weigh enough on the moon for regular footwear to grip the floor. Later we'll get you boys into some local footwear like I'm wearing, which are very soft-soled and have much better traction. But right now, we're a little pushed for time, so I just want you three to follow me. We'll be fine if we take small steps and don't try to move too fast.
What's with all the doors?
They're called safe havens. If the sensors detect any unsafe conditions within the tunnel atmosphere, an alarm will sound and everyone moves into their closest haven. They hold up to 6 and provide air, food, and water for at least 48 hours. Central control is then notified whenever anyone enters the haven.
Hi, General. Glad to see you got back okay. I assume these three are the new candidates you went back to Earth for.
Correct, Tom. Boys, let me introduce you to Thomas Hughes. He's one of our gatekeepers. He'll be leading us through the ingress procedure. Tom, these three young men are Carl Putnam, Paul Clark, and Pat Reynolds.
Welcome to Luna, everyone. As the General already knows, everyone landing on the moon has to be screened for any unknown or dangerous pathogens. The process takes only about 5 minutes. The cylindrical booth in front of you will scan each of you and either give you a clean bill of health or provide the prescription necessary for treatment. Since you boys will have already gone through the pre-screen regimen, this should go pretty quickly.
That might be a problem, Tom. Paul and Carl weren't at Gateway long enough to go through the full regimen.
Oh, I see. Then might I suggest you go first, General? The Council seemed pretty anxious to get you on a secure link as soon as they could.
No problem. Excuse me, boys. Looks like it's age before beauty again. How'd they do, Tom?
Bit of a mixed bag, I'm afraid, General. Pat's clean, but both Carl and Paul still have a few bad pathogens present. How'd it go with the Council? Any problems?
Just a schedule change. How long before they can enter the city?
Protocol is 72 hours.
Any special treatment needed while they're in quarantine?
No, the full scan already infused them with everything they need. Just need to keep them isolated while the treatment runs its full course.
Then load them into some medical isolation suits, and I'll get them on the road.
You got it, General.
Gentlemen, this is Ring City. It was created by 3 passes of the largest boring rig ever built by man. The resulting triangular-shaped tunnel is curved into a ring, about 10 miles in diameter, providing about 31 miles of useful length. That length is divided into living quarters, food production, and industry.
Why a ring?
First, our mining engineers needed 3 passes to get the cross-section we wanted. As you may know, modern tunneling rigs are hundreds of feet long and can't be turned around. And second, we wanted to minimize the power transmission length from our only power source at the time.
Must be a big power source to run such a large tunneling rig. Is it nuclear?
Probably. But to tell the truth, I don't actually know. Whoops. That's our tram. Better run.
Pretty impressive. How many people live here?
Only a couple thousand right now. But we have room for about 10 times that many.
I thought this tunnel was a loop. What's with the wall ahead?
Oh, that. The ring is divided into 4 sections with autonomous environmental systems. That's a section airlock up ahead. By having separate and redundant life support, we can isolate many dangerous things from spreading quickly from one section to the others, and provide safe haven should one section go down for some reason.
What kind of reasons are you thinking of, General?
Carl, we are planning a war, you know.
Are those trees?
Oh yes, we grow them for lumber and paper products. Our goal is to be totally self-sufficient and not reliant on Earth for anything.
Boy, talk about a long day. Glad to get out of this rig. General was right about the boots, though. They did make me feel a lot more sure-footed. How about you? Where are you going?
Just checking out the kitchen. Yeah, the boots really do help.
You still hungry? I thought you ate while we were waiting to leave orbit.
Just checking to see if we have anything for breakfast.
Okay. I'm going to hit the shower and turn in. I don't know about you, but I'm beat.
Yeah, me too. I'll be right behind you.
Paul, watch this.
Morning, Paul. Pretty neat, huh? Sure couldn't do that back on Earth. Is that bacon I smell?
Figured that would wake you up. I hope so. It looks like bacon, smells like bacon. Just about to find out if it tastes like bacon.
Wow, real eggs. Is that for me? How's the coffee?
Not bad. I've had worse.
Yeah, Paul, coffee's not bad. Say, hand me some of that toast, would you?
Great breakfast, Paul. I'm surprised, though. Didn't think we'd see fresh food out here on the moon.
Yeah, surprises just keep coming, don't they?
I wonder how the General planned on contacting us. I don't see a phone or anything around.
That would be my job.
Whoa. And who are you?
Oh, sorry, boys. It's me, Tom Hughes. We met yesterday?
Pardon me, but you don't look anything like you did yesterday.
Oh, no. This remote's not me. I'm just communicating through it.
Like the General did to us back on Earth.
Sort of. But our remotes here are far more functional. You see, I'm in full sensory link with this unit right now. So as far as my brain is concerned, I am here.
So, you're here to start our training?
General figured since you were confined to quarters, teaching you to operate remotes would kill two birds at once.
I don't see any other units in here.
Of course not. Why would you want to operate a remote in the same room you were already in? First thing we have to do is create a digital key of your specific neural patterns. Let's get started.
What's the purpose of all these actions again?
The device on your neck is measuring all neurons traveling from your brain to each muscle group. It then creates a selective neural filter to null out unwanted muscle responses to those specific commands.
Unwanted responses?
When your brain is sending commands to the remote unit, we can't have your own body back here thrashing about, now can we?
How does that work?
That'll be easier to explain after you've been in a full link with a remote. Okay, Carl and Paul. The objects you can feel with your hands are the activation controls. Gently squeeze them when you're ready.
Wow, where'd you come from, General?
Is that you, Carl?
What do you mean? Paul?
Relax, boys. You're both still back in your quarters. You are experiencing your first full neural link with a remote.
Wow, now this is just weird.
Hello, boys. Kinda bizarre, isn't it?
Tom, what about your remote?
It's okay. I just left it standing back in your room.
This is so weird. Rationally, I know this is not my body, but...
I know. When you're in full link, the remote is providing every sensory input your brain is expecting. Here, grab my hand.
Wow, I can feel it and even sense your body heat. How can it do that?
The link passes pressure and temperature information from the hands of the remote back to those gloves I had you put on. Your brain doesn't know the difference. If we keep the time lag short enough.
Does that mean there's a limit to how far away you can operate a remote?
Yes and no, Carl. Basically, most people become too disoriented to operate in full link beyond a couple 100 miles. But you can operate what we call a soft link more than 10 times that far without too much effort.
Say, Tom, how come Paul and my remotes don't have animated mouths like yours did? Just different models. The ones you're using right now are for outside assembly and construction, and primarily communicate remotely. The V model I was using in your apartment works mostly inside and often communicates face-to-face with people. In that venue, the mouth seems to help. So what exactly is this place? And what's the deal with all the spacecraft out there? This facility is a maintenance and storage facility. In addition to the ground and shuttlecraft, it also supports the various small interceptor craft you see. Those are small? As you'll be learning, we have a family of spacecraft in development and in operation. But the interceptors you see on the hangar floor are the largest we can currently deploy directly from the lunar surface. I don't see any people out in the hangar. Is there atmosphere out there? Yes, but not enough for people. It's only 10 psi, and it's pure nitrogen. That seems odd. Not really. By using only nitrogen, corrosion is virtually nil. The 10 psi is a compromise. It reduces the amount of gas lost each time we move anything through the airlock, and yet is still high enough for human survival with only an oxygen breather. Isn't having to use only remotes a big disadvantage? Actually, I have to say there are more advantages than disadvantages. Right now, I want you and Paul to get a little more practice operating through your remotes. So why don't you go out and explore the hangar a bit? Look at 'em, General. This whole thing's just a lark to them.
So far, it mostly has been. But you and I know that's about to change.
Think they can handle it?
Yes, they'll be fine.
There's a lot depending on this mission. How can you be so sure?
Don't forget, Tom. I've been following these boys for a long time. Just saying they're made of the right stuff doesn't cover it by half.
You're probably right. But they have so much to learn in such a short amount of time.
Relax, Tom. If we do our jobs, they'll be ready. They have to be.
Hard to believe it's already been a week since we got here.
Yeah, time sure flies. Especially when they work you 14 to 16 hours a day.
There's just so much new stuff. These guys have been busy.
According to Tom, the familiarization phase is over. Tomorrow we're going to get to do some real work.
Yeah, the General told me pretty much the same thing. Say, haven't had time to compare notes this week. What have they got you working on?
A variety of nuclear power systems. Somehow, they have taken essentially a Chicago-class nuclear submarine power plant and converted it for some type of spacecraft use.
What kind of conversion are you talking about?
They managed to reduce its mass by 70%.
How did they do that?
A lot of new composites for shielding. And then isolating it to one end of a very long ship so they don't have to shield but about half of it. What about you?
Remember when I told you the propulsion research from my college studies was being dismissed and that they wouldn't let us build any prototypes?
Sort of.
Well, I was wrong. They not only built prototypes, they have several functioning systems in operation. And I got to operate a test bed with the latest versions. Remember how impressed we were with Dark Star's propulsion? Well, it's actually 2 generations behind.
Sounds good. Say, how's your bourbon and Coke?
Not bad. Somebody around here must know how to make bourbon. How's your scotch?
Not the best I've had, but definitely not the worst either. And considering it's all manufactured here on the moon.
Hard to believe, but I imagine a decent drink was a priority with so many people permanently isolated from Earth. Kind of makes me wonder what they do for fun, though. Have you noticed there are almost no women around? And those that are could be my grandmother?
Since most of the men are old enough to be our grandparents as well, I guess it's fitting.
Oh well, Tom says that will be changing soon. New arrivals like ourselves are going to be able to return to Earth someday, so they don't have to keep bringing only seniors who are dead-enders. But even at the 20 a week the General thought they would be able to move through Archimedes, it's going to take a long while before there's much nightlife on Luna. But hey, this is just a visit. We get to go home, right?
It had to be tough for those who came knowing they would never be able to return to Earth, though.
And not to be able to even let your family know you're still alive. Wow, what a commitment.
What's wrong, Carl? I figured you'd be jazzed about working on new propulsion systems.
Oh, I am, but I was thinking about how long it might be before we see the girls again.
Didn't the General tell you?
Tell me what?
When I asked him about Lorelei and Gloria being in Antarctica, he told me they were part of a group being trained by LSG and would be sent here.
They know about the moon?
Not yet.
They only know they are going to meet up with us at the remote facility we are currently at.
And did he say when that would happen?
Right now, it's planned for about 3 to 4 months.
Well, that sounds better. I was afraid we wouldn't see them again until after the aliens arrive.